Good morning and welcome to Smell the Coffee on this beautiful Tuesday morning. You are joined by Diana Master, and boy oh boy do we have quite the show for you. Yes, me and my multiple personalities. As per usual, we're going to be bringing you our memes of the day. We're going to be bringing you the latest stories and a very exciting interview in our guest segment. So today we're going to be talking about some very bizarre story, because is it really Smell the Coffee if we don't bring you a bizarre story? No, it is not. So with that said, please grab your favorite cup of joe. Stick around as we come back with our memes of the day.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises. From artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Today in our meme of the day segment, two of my favorite videos, and one of them is what to get me for my birthday. It's a very simple, basic list, okay, very affordable. So let's take a look.
Top 3 attention-seeking activities. At number 3, being left-handed. I know you're lying. It doesn't even make sense. All the ink is on your hand when you're writing. At number 2, sneezing 3 times in a row. Just do one big loud one. It's faster and easier. At number 1, people who say, "Oh, I wish the movie is as good as the book." We get it, you read, dude. We get it.
I agree with everything. First of all, why are you sneezing 3 times in a row? That is screaming, give me attention, okay? But there is a myth that says that if a woman sneezes 3 times, it means her future mother-in-law is talking about her or something like that. Yeah. There's a myth like that. And also, yeah, like, oh my goodness, honestly speaking, the book is better than the movie. Okay, we get it, you read, cool, bruv. But guess what? We all watch the movie. We know what happens. So stop those things of, I read so much. Oh my goodness. I read like 50 books a year, 50 books a month. Okay, cool, bruv, whatever. Somebody said, also, having asthma is an attention-seeking activity. Just breathe. And it reminds me of when I was having an asthma attack and my sister said to me, "Chummy, just breathe. I don't know why you are doing all of this. Just breathe." But yeah, let's take a look at this next meme. Like I said, this is the birthday wish list. All very affordable, okay? All very doable, all very realistic. Let's take a look.
Wholesome things you can gift me, all within budget. We'll start with the most wholesome. A burgundy interior Lamborghini Urus with a shiny nude pink exterior, 2026. If you don't like cars, you can just change my whole closet out. Don't worry about jewelry. Another person can get that for me. Now, if you want to get me jewelry, just switch out all of my gold and silver jewelry and just replace them with diamonds and pearls. Quality diamonds and pearls. Because if it wasn't quality, it wouldn't be wholesome. Also, you can always get me a card, a wholesome card with stacks of $100 bills inside. Thank you. Now, you can also sing a song for me, not you. 3 of my favorite artists in my backyard performing a personal performance for me in my own house, in the comfort of my home. Now, you don't have to be there because I understand you're busy. You don't want to always be doing things. You have a busy schedule, so I'm going to let you do whatever you have to do, and I can just be there on my own with the concerts. You can get me a helicopter. I wanted to say private jet, but I feel like a private jet is not wholesome. Helicopters are wholesome because it's just me and one other person, and most likely like just me and the pilots, because like I said, you're busy, I'll probably be driving that by myself. Okay, a nail salon. My nails are not done right now. It would be very wholesome of you to notice that, oh, Bube, your nails are not done. Let me get you a nail salon. That's so lovely. Now, an island for a wholesome, relaxing holiday. I think an island is wholesome because imagine you just thought about, oh, Bube would love to be by the water. That's amazing. A wholesome, home-cooked meal by a private chef who will become my personal private chef from that day forward. How wholesome of you to want me to have a home-cooked meal every day for the rest of my life. Oh, you're such a good friend. Now, we could spend the day together shopping with your card. What a wholesome day. Our quality time, like, I'm such a funny person, like, you get to laugh all day long. Wow, I'm a good friend. I'm not greedy, so I don't mind a plate of pasta and chicken by the pool of the beach house that you will get for me. Thank you. And these are all within budget, so if it's not within your budget, then I will have another list later. Thank you.
Again, budget friendly. 28 September, mark the date, guys. Please, if you love me the way y'all say you love me, there is the birthday wish list. All very affordable, all within budget, okay? I'm not even asking for a lot at this point. I'm asking for the bare minimum. But nevertheless, so stick around because after the break, we're bringing you a story that is going to make you say, what? But yeah, we will be right back right after this. Today, in another episode of After God, Fear Men, woman develops 3 cancers after her husband cheated and learning she had a cancer-causing STI. Nearly every cause of cervical cancer, a whopping 99.7%, is caused by the human papilloma virus, HPV, a sexually transmitted infection. HPV has also been linked to more than 90% of anal cancers and about 69% of vulvar cancers. And Eileen McGill Fox is battling all 3. Yes, so that is anal cancer, vulvar cancer, and cervical cancer, all 3. Right? Married for nearly 30 years, the mother of 4 immediately went for an STI screening after learning of her husband's infidelity in 2017 and was initially negative for syphilis, gonorrhea, and HIV. A year later, though, she discovered during a routine pap smear she was positive for HPV, which is not screened for in basic STI testing. She was diagnosed with vulvar cancer 2 months later, followed quickly by a cervical cancer diagnosis and anal cancer 5 years after her initial HPV diagnosis. For the past 7 years, she's been undergoing various treatments, including a hysterectomy to address the cervical cancer and regular painful laser and skin removal procedures on her vulva and in her anal canal to burn away precancerous cells. Now, there's no way for Fox to know for sure when she contracted HPV, excuse me, since some types can lie dormant for years and even decades. However, most cases clear up on their own within about 2 years. HPV has been linked to several types of cancer, including of the cervix, throat, vagina, penis, and head and neck, which is quickly becoming one of the most common types related to the virus. And research shows that once a person has an HPV-related cancer, they're at increased risk of developing another. Doctors say her diseases were preventable with the HPV vaccine, and now Fox is on a mission to educate others. When I tell people I have anal cancer, I'm like, it is what it is. Fox told the Tampa Bay Times, let's talk about vulvas and anuses and cervixes. Let's remove the stigma and the shadow language for dealing with it. She also says if she had known then what she knows now, she wouldn't have hesitated to get the vaccine, adding, If it can happen to a married woman of 30 years, then it can happen to anybody. When I tell you my flabbers are ghosted, when I tell you I am at a loss for words, when I tell you I don't know what kind of punishment this man deserves, because what do you mean? Why isn't he the one battling all of these cancers? Why does it have to be her? I don't understand why your cheating has to cause adverse effects on someone else. Why can't you just suffer on your own? You were the one that decided to step out. You were the one that went and cheated. But now someone else has to pay for your actions. There should be some sort of hell for people. There's a special place in hell for people like that man. What do you even do? Because even if you sue for money and whatever, your health is... Yo, guys, this story made me extremely upset. This story left me distraught. Because what do you mean? What do you actually mean? I'm sorry, I would probably go to jail for murder. I would go to prison for murder. Because what do you mean? It's one thing for you to be unfaithful. It's another thing for you to bring home all of these... Whoo! You know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. Please do let me know what you think of some of the stories that we shared, and let us know what your take is on this story that is extremely disturbing. And now that you know this, please be very cautious out there. Be extremely cautious, because unfortunately we live in a time where people are more scared of pregnancy than they are of these life-threatening infections. On that note, that brings us to the end of our top stories. Right after the break, we take a look at our interview with SolveX.
I'm joined in studio by a visionary artist, someone who has worn many hats and always wants to show up as authentic as possible to every project. Good morning, X. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you doing, Tenora?
I'm quite excited to have you in studio. I'm quite excited to have this conversation early on in the year, because you're one of the artists that I always look out for in terms of just the work that you're doing. And everything that you do is, always inspiring, and you're always pushing yourself to the next limit.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So how has the year 2026 been? I know it's quite early, but how has it been so far as an artist?
As an artist so far, in an individual capacity, I think 2026 looks very promising. Again, I always like to say this. I feel like there's a new temperature in the art industry, in the creative industry, and myself as an artist, there's a lot that you can plan for. There's a lot that sounds exciting, that sounds like it's going to, sort of flourish. So again, like you said, it's very early on in the year, so you can't say too much. You don't want to jinx things that you have planned, but there's a positive start to it individually. But the world doesn't look very bright at the moment. So there's obviously that thing of like trying to balance reality with your optimism, So
speaking of that, and also how artists need to be a voice or the mirror to where society is, or the reflection of the times. I've seen most of your work, and it really does that. Your last play, you were, tackling quite a few heavy themes, but it was also inspired because this is, what I see in the community, and I'm just reflecting the times. How important is that for you as an artist to always, hold up the mirror to society?
I think that's the role of every artist, actually. In fact, everyone that has, even if you're not an artist as a profession, if you have a sketch pad at home, it's important for you to reflect what it is that inhibits you internally, and whatever you see as going on in the world around you, because that's how you preserve who you are, and that's how you preserve, let's say, the national identity of a country. It's by creating the art that reflects that. It's been quite a journey, trying to really find my footing in expressing what, because it's very difficult to be honest as an artist, especially when you start commercializing your art. you want to meet the standard, the status quo, whatever is popular, whatever is trending. And most of the time, things that are reflective of society, people don't want to consume substance anymore. You know, we live in a world, the digital era or whatever, but we live in a world where it's so easy to consume things. You know, it's like you just scroll. It's just art even on social media. So creating art that challenges, that makes people think critically about the world around them, about themselves, it's important. And I think it's the role of every artist to some degree, even if you make abstract art, you need art that makes people think about themselves and about the world they live in, essentially.
I love that. I love that. And you did speak on trends as well, and how it's important to try to be as authentic as possible, but still, you know, be in the know of the trends that are happening. What kind of trends are you seeing right now, or trends that we might be heading into in the industry?
So, let me start with artists have become independent curators and creators now, especially with the advent and the promise of, you know, the internet era and the technologies like AI and AR and VR and all these new technologies that are driving what it means to be an artist in a completely new direction. And it's trending also, of course. I mean, we saw like with the advent of social media, it became much more easier to sort of disseminate your art globally, because you are in charge of it. You are in charge of distribution, because, you know, the internet platforms and social media platforms made that possible. So when was the internet introduced? Like early 2000s. So now in 2026, you know, it's taken a level that is
where you can be a business on your own, and you don't need all these other factors or agents
and people
record labels and whatnot. It also removes a level of, I'm not saying all record labels are bad, but or companies per se that house and manage artists are bad, but there were issues in the past where you hear stories of like artists, I sold how many millions of albums or books, what have you, but I didn't make so much money from it because of the contracts I signed.
Yeah. So there's that sense of like independence of being drawn away as an individual artist, being drawn away from institutions and being able to own your art, own your work, direct the channel in which it flows, things like that.
And also own your voice as well.
Own your voice as well.
Very important. Which is I've seen quite a few artists blow up just on social media.
Yeah.
And I don't see them like being signed on to anybody, but you can see that they have like millions of views on YouTube and they are doing their own thing, which is very nice and holistic.
They themselves become the brand, the entity, the company.
Yes.
You know, as an individual artist, you become the institution that sort of produces the work that you create as an artist.
Do you think that this new trend, especially the use of social media, is good news for Namibian artists? Because there's always been that notion that, if you're an artist in Namibia, you're just going to suffer, you're going to starve. So do you think that this is a platform for us as artists to, you know, get on and, you know, just see where it goes?
Yeah. I can answer that in two ways. One, it's not just social media, but other technologies, like we said now, the new trends that are happening, artificial intelligence and so forth. I think there's two ideas that you can have to it, like a positivist one and a negativist one. One, the Namibian industry, the creative arts industry, like I said, you know, it's only now with with the administration of the current president where we see some kind of recognition and true appreciation and acknowledgement of the importance of art and trying to, you know, distribute resources to build the industry. But then it also comes at a point where like the technology is so advanced to the point where you don't have it's in let's say in first world countries, creative industries are being threatened by our own creations, by technology. You don't need a whole set to create a film. You don't need a director, producer, writer. You just need AI. You just need AI and a producer. Because script writing,
which is a bit sad.
You know.
Yes.
So if that same reality sort of presented onto Namibia in this, it's not in the early stages. I mean, the art industry has been around. You know,
Yeah.
we have had artists for
Yeah.
for decades since our independence. But in my experience, having conversations with people that are sort of the veterans of the art industry in Namibia, the older filmmakers, the older cultural practitioners, I always sense a bit of like a sense of not regret, like spitefulness. Like, why only now? Like, we are old, we're about to retire,
And
only
now it's just starting to pick up.
you know, it's only starting to pick up now, and you see it, it's very palpable when you enter rooms where people are having conversation on trying to formulate policies around the art creative industries. You know, the older people always seem to be a little bit more, you know, frustrated for the fact because they're about to retire, and then there's an idea that my generation, Gen Z, doesn't really understand the importance of art to a society, because again, everything is so cheap and so easy to make, and you can create a Mona Lisa with a prompt, you know, like the process of
Of writing, even academically, you can see that the time it used to take to study for something and what have you, you know, I have to read a whole textbook. Now I can just put a prompt, please summarize, I'm doing a test and this is what we're going to focus. Summarize the most important things that I need to know about this, and that's it. And then I go and write the test and I pass, but I have not sat down and you know, consumed a work of somebody, a body of work. Do you get it? It's just snippets of it. And yeah, I hear what you're saying. So the world is moving to that. Speaking of AI and the creative industry, we're seeing more and more writers, musicians, what have you, are using AIs. And there is a positive to it. I've listened to some music or musicians who've used AI.
Oh, okay. I thought you said I thought you were going to say AI artists.
Yeah, not AI artists. They would, let's say, I don't have a producer, so AI does my producing for me. And I can see how it helps, especially when you're starting out and you don't have the money to pay for a producer, what have you. So there's this guy that I'm following on social media. He used AI to create his beats, but the vocals is his, which I have to say I respect him for that. And I love that that's the direction he's going for, because it's quite expensive, especially if you're starting out. But at the same time, it takes away from the human touch.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point of it all. AI can do incredible things. It can make work so much more effective, so much more efficient, so much more convenient and easier to do in any industry. You know, especially in the arts. But then it takes away from that human touch.
Yeah.
And so, let's say I'm a bit of a negativist. Maybe I've watched too much
Black Mirror.
Futuristic sci-fi films about AI taking over the world or whatever. The first thing as an artist that I would fear is that instead of, you know, thinking about robotics, we won't be able to do anything. You have an AI that's cleaning your room, your house. You have AI that drives, or you take a robot or whatever, electric car, whatever, that drives your kids to school. You know, you don't have to go anywhere and do anything, because you have created these technologies that can do everything for us, and then humans basically just become people that eat and sleep, consume. The perfect utopia of AI and technology. But what would that mean for art? That means nothing that we consume is created by the hands of a human. You watch a movie, a film, it's generated. You see a painting, it's generated. You listen to music, it's generated. It's written, it's produced, everything, all the elements of that goes into making music. So I do respect people that are trying to move with the time, artists that are trying to move with the times, like the person you mentioned that would make a beat with AI but still put their own vocals. But at one point, someone else is going to realize, no, it's easier to just also let AI generate my voice. Let me record my voice. And then at one point, we don't have any original art or
anymore.
human art with human touch to it. And I like to quote, it's a German philosopher, I don't know if you know him, but Friedrich Nietzsche. I know you like philosophy.
I know him. Of course I'll know him.
Yeah. And he had this idea that in order for humans, the point of being alive on this earth as a human being is to sort of struggle. And if you're going to project that into your art, AI doesn't have struggle. You know, it's just analyzes.
There's no human soul to it.
Exactly.
A human touch brings the endurance, the suffering, the joy, what have you, and that's what make it so unique and palpable to everybody else. So I definitely agree with that. Now, X, we really, got carried away, and you and I will always, have long conversations. But it was so nice to have you in studio to divulge some of this thought, and just also open our minds to just like, okay, this might be cool, but what does it mean in the long term for society and for us as artists as well? So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Solve X, and this is a very beautiful conversation.
Thank you so much. All right, with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow, same time, same place.